Good morning, everybody. What a great crowd, and thank you all so much for coming out here this morning to support Revere's efforts to bring back the Columbus Day Parade. My name is Mayor Dan Rizzo, for those of you who don't know me, but there is a large group, a contingent of volunteers that help make this possible, who I will try to recognize later. But first, before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you the Revere High School JROTC, who will present the colors. So please rise. Recite the Pledge of Allegiance led by Sophia Gendro, 5th grade student from the Abraham Lincoln School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job, Sophia. At this point, Sergeant James Connor from the Massachusetts State Police will sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Sergeant of the Guard, dismissed. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to acknowledge at this time the instructors for our JROTC, Major Debra A. Bowker and Sergeant Major Robert Callender. What a great job they did. Thank you so much.
Post. March. Right. Face. Calm left. March.
Thank you all. You all may be seated at this time. I'm going to take just a few minutes to recognize some of our elected officials and dignitaries that are here with us today. They're in no particular order as we got them on the way in. So, and if I do leave anybody out, please stand so I can acknowledge you or at least recognize you, okay? First off, from the City of Revere, City Councilor Ira Novoselsky. City Councilor from Revere, Charlie Patch. Malden City Councilor Neil Anderson. Neil, thank you very much. School Committee member from the City of Revere, Stacy Rizzo. City Councilor from the City of Revere, Bob Hass. City Councilor from the City of Revere, Arthur Guanasso. Revere School Committee member Dan McGuire. Revere School Committee member Michael Ferranti. Revere School Committee member Fred Sinella. Revere School Committee member Carol Ty. Revere City Councilor Tony Zambuto. Revere City Councilor John Powers. Revere City Councilor Jessica Giannino. All the way from the great city of Beverly, I don't know if he's still here, but Mayor Bill Scanlon is here. Bill, thank you so much. School Committee member Donna Wood Pruitt. Revere City Councilor Brian Arrigo. Malden City Councilor David D'Angelo. State Committee man Tino Capobianco. And only in Revere will you find the Italian Deputy Consulate Luigi Mugno. Luigi, thank you. Obviously, we have other people worthy of introduction, but they are going to be speaking. Is there anybody here who I left out or failed to recognize? I know I saw our, Rep Donato's here. Rep Donato, thank you very much, Rep. And also, not here on the paper, and I made eye contact with him a second ago, Rep Spiliotis. Rep, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Ted. Okay, so I think that does it. I know our chief of the fire department's here. Chief, thanks so much for being here. I don't know if my police chief's here. I see our deputy here. There he is, Chief Joe Caffarelli. Chief, thank you. Chief Gene Doherty's already been telling me, why don't we do this for St. Patrick's Day? But I'm sorry, this is the Columbus Day Parade, so we're going to stay with the theme. Is Paul Dakin here? I didn't see him. Paul, Superintendent of Schools, Paul Dakin is here as well. So, first off, I just want to once again thank all of you. Some of our major sponsors I want to recognize, and there are many people who have contributed so far to help bring this parade back. But I just want to mention a few of our major sponsors here. We have East Boston Savings Bank. I want to thank them. Showcase Cinemas, Massport, the Revere Chamber of Commerce, Honeydew Donuts, who provided us the coffee this morning. Thank you. And there's far too many to recognize, but you'll see them all here in the brochure that you've been handed. And I guess collectively, I just want to thank all of you sponsors for helping us get this back off the ground. It's been a tradition here in the city of Revere that we had as far back as I can remember, and due to budgetary cuts, we had to stop the parade back 5 or 6 years ago. And as I was campaigning for mayor around the city and having conversations with our residents, it became clear to me there was still an appetite to once again have our Columbus Day Parade, that we had for so many years as a signature event here in the city. So here we are, and it's our goal right now, starting with this breakfast, to bring back Columbus Day Parade next year at this time in 2013. So thank you all so much for being a part of this. I failed to mention John Recupero from the City of Chelsea is here, Chelsea City Council. Thank you. And it really is heartwarming to me as mayor to see the support that we have. It's not, I mean, as you can see from our friends outside of Revere that have come here to show their support, and I really can't tell you how grateful I am for that. We are living in a much more regional type economy these days, and I know that just since taking over 9 months ago, I've had the opportunity to work with many of these cities and towns represented here today. So I want to thank all of them for being here in Revere to show their support. Without any further ado, I'd like to start our speaking program here this morning, and I'm diverting here, and, sometimes you get too many papers up here. I think that's the problem. And I know I'm in a lot of trouble for this one. Before we go any further, I need to call on Father George Butera to give the blessing. And if he could give an extra one for me, because I think I need one right about now, Father, so thank you.
Thank you, Dan. We can't do anything without God. So let me offer this prayer for all of us. We thank you, our God, for your loving trust in people. In creation, you first clothed us with dignity and called us not things, but sons and daughters, and saw that we were very good. As we celebrate Columbus Day, we ask you to bless our city of Revere. As Christopher Columbus took the risk and thought if he traveled far enough to the west, he would eventually wind up in the east. Help us to take those necessary risks to promote love and unity in our city and country. Help us to restore the great tradition of celebrating Columbus Day with a great parade. Since today, as never before, your work is in our hands. So we, the whole creation, and all our frailty and mystery, with all our races and peoples, join hands around your world in doubt, in love, in risk, and in hope, to offer you thanks in a new way. Today, we ask you to protect and bless all our people. Guide us by your Spirit, and now bless this food which we are about to receive in thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. God bless you all. Thank you. It's all right, no problem.
Thank you very much, Father. Our first speaker here this evening, I'm sure is no stranger to any of us. Gail Huff is an accomplished television news reporter who has worked for various stations over the past 27 years and is best known for her 17 years spent at Boston's WCVB TV5. Gail is currently on a leave of absence from her role as a news reporter for WJLA TV7 in Washington, D.C., to join her husband, Scott Brown, in his re-election campaign. Gail is a graduate of Waltham High School, 1980. She has a Bachelor of Science degree from Bentley University in Waltham, where she studied business communications. She later attended Emerson College's graduate program for broadcast journalism. Gail also enjoys being an active participant in various charity organizations, including the Alzheimer's Association, American Stroke Association, and the Horace Mann Education Association. Gail and Scott have been married for 26 years and live in Rentham. They have 2 daughters, Ayla and Ariana. You all should know that an invitation was extended to senatorial candidate Elizabeth Warren and United States Senator John Kerry, both of whom had scheduling conflicts and could not attend. At this point, I'd like to introduce to you Gail Huff.
That's very kind. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. That's very, very kind. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here with you this morning. I really just want to say hello and let you know how committed Scott and I are to seeing the parade come back to this community. Keeping your heritage is so, so very important. Over the many years that I worked at Channel 5, I often covered that parade. So I know it well and certainly beloved by so many residents in this community. So again, I think next year we're going to have to move to a much bigger venue because clearly this was sold out. And we need to do all the fundraising we can in order to bring back this important tradition to Revere. So thanks again for having me today, and I look forward to meeting everyone.
Thank you so much, Gail. Let me see here. I missed another selectman from the town of Georgetown, David Surface, who's also the president of the St. Jean's Credit Union. David, thank you very much for being here. Bear with me for a second. Our next speaker is Congressman Ed Markey. Representative Markey is a national leader on energy and the environment. He is the ranking member of the National Resources Committee. He has served on that committee since his election to Congress in 1976. In addition to being a steward of our public lands, national parks, and oceans, Representative Markey has fought to create new jobs in American clean energy. Obviously, Congressman Markey's long list of accomplishments would take far too much time to present to you this morning, but I will mention a few that come to mind. He has been a leading voice in the ongoing congressional investigation into the BP oil spill. At the onset of the crisis in the Gulf, he insisted that the company reveal the true size of the spill's flow rate, raised concerns about the use of toxic chemical dispersants, and forced BP to make live video footage of the oil spill available to the public on SpillCam website that he created. From 2007 to 2010, at the direction of then Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Representative Markey served as chairman of the Select Committee on Energy Independence and Global Warming. The Select Committee had 80 hearings and briefings and contributed to the advancement of smarter energy and climate policies, including the first increase in fuel economy standards in 3 decades, which Representative Markey authored. During the 111th Congress, Rep. Markey also chaired the Energy and Environment Subcommittee of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, perhaps the most powerful subcommittee in the House of Representatives. It had unprecedented jurisdiction over national energy and environmental policy. As chairman, Congressman Markey co-authored the landmark Waxman-Markey American Clean Energy and Security Act, which was approved by the House of Representatives in June 2009. In addition to his work, I'll go right to the last page. Okay. That was quite long. You're right. Okay. Well, needless to say, you know what, though, Congressman, on a personal note, I just want to say from the city of Revere, he was very, very, very helpful, most lately, and instrumental in obtaining close to $80 million in public funds that's helping the city. Yeah, you should get that, Congressman. You should at least get that. Okay? Got $80 million that's helping us spearhead that private investment that we're all going to realize down there at Wonderland Station. So without any further ado, I am going to introduce to you our Congressman Ed Markey.
Thank you, Danny, so much. $80 million, or as the mayor said to me earlier, for his administration, chump change. Okay, but in terms of what his expectations are during the time that he is mayor. Father, welcome. Welcome. Fantastic job. Most of the time that Father would see this many people, they would be kneeling and listening to organ music, or there would be a performance of last rites over someone's political career here in Revere, and he would just be invited to preside over it. You know, it's a great day. We have, we have Gail Huff and Mike Capuano, the state auditor, the state treasurer. You know, we have Billy Reinstein's great daughter here, Anthony Petracelli, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, all in one place at one time. Just an absolutely amazing gathering of people. And so you should just never underestimate people, you know. There's a guy, he's great in debate. He has great hair, has tremendous success in everything that he does. He should never be underestimated. And I'm talking about Dan Rizzo, okay? The guy is unbelievable. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's not kid ourselves. We might be honoring Columbus here today. But it can only happen with the permission of the mayor's wife, Jane Fitzgerald, okay? That's the only reason we're all here this morning. The mayor, as you know, had an incredible career in the Navy. He was in the Navy for 4 years, making him the second greatest Italian sailor after Christopher Columbus in history. Just absolutely fantastic career. And the mayor really hates to think that any Italian is without a job, unemployed. That's his job here in Revere. Every Italian will have a job. And I think it was great, don't you, this morning, to see Bobby Valentine out there parking cars today, just without the mayor, you know, thinking that way. And he was on his bicycle, only had 3 accidents while he was out there. Just absolutely unbelievable. You know, I see Governor Romney now running for president. Remember when he came here to Revere for the first time? Remember that? He thought overriding a veto is when his driver hit that guy in front of the Soccorso Club. You know what I mean? He just had no idea what he was doing. And it's unbelievable how far he's come, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, it's unbelievable. You know, when I ran the first time, I was running against the great Billy Reinstein. I was running against Billy Reinstein for Congress, and it was unbelievable. I'm marching in the Columbus Day Parade, and Billy has a guy dressed up like Christopher Columbus marching with him down the middle of the entire parade. And what a reception. It was incredible. He understood Revere. So I went over to shake hands with Christopher Columbus, just to tell him what an unfair advantage was. So he took off his mask, and there it was, John Correggio as Christopher Columbus, campaigning 1976, right here, just absolutely unbelievable. And, did you see that story that the mayor is now planning on converting Wonderland into a 20,000-seat professional soccer field? Huh? Isn't that unbelievable? Isn't that unbelievable? Only to do one thing, to get the Italian Olympic soccer team here to Revere, where it belongs, huh? Ladies and gentlemen. So, so this is a tremendous day, and we all know that Judge Colella, all the members of the Soccorso Club and the Oreo Club up there in heaven, are smiling down here today, knowing that once again, next year, honoring them, honoring this city, and honoring really the patron saint of the Italian people, Christopher Columbus, that under the leadership of our great mayor, we will once again have that historic parade. Thank you all so much for being here today.
I can see why he wanted to speed up the program. Congressman, thank you so much for being here, really, and all that you've done for our city. We're very, very, very grateful. I don't know, we started talking a little bit earlier, or the Congressman started talking about the presidential race and Governor Romney. I'm sure most of you had a chance to see the debate the other night, didn't you? It did seem a little one-sided, but if there's one thing that came out of that, I think, actually, I think somebody is here that actually was recognized at that debate. And, I mean, I never expected Big Bird to be attacked. But Big Bird is here in support of the Columbus Day Parade, and that's all I care about. So thank you very much, Big Bird. All right. Thank you, Big Bird. So, I'd now, at this point, like to bring up no stranger to any of us. I know that the Congressman just recognized me as the second most famous sailor behind Christopher Columbus. And I just recently learned that a very well-earned dedication, the Winthrop Senior Center, was dedicated to Speaker Bob DeLeo. And little did I know, very well-deserved. But while it's a great honor to be recognized as the second greatest sailor behind Christopher Columbus, the Speaker DeLeo really holds the greatest honor as being the second most powerful politician behind Julius Caesar. So now that's something. And I'm not sure he even said second. He might have surpassed him. So, but anyway, I can see I'm going to be ditching these speeches. I really don't want to go. I took some great time and effort in putting all these together, but I think I'm just going to divert from that, use my own words. Bob DeLeo, I remember, and I see Councilor Zambuto sitting here, I remember Bob DeLeo as a brand-new state representative representing Revere and Winthrop, coming before the Revere Rotary Club. And I think little did we know at that time how much good and how much work that he would be able to get done during his years as a legislator. I've got to know Bob over those years, both as a private citizen and now in elected office. And I have to tell you, he is one of the finest gentlemen, one of the most hardest working, dedicated elected officials that I've ever met. And we're very, very fortunate to have him. And at this point in time, really needing no introduction, but I want to introduce to you our Speaker of the House, our State Representative, Bob DeLeo. Bob.
Thank you so much, Dan, and it's wonderful to be here on this Columbus Day breakfast. And hopefully we're going to be starting a tradition that's going to last for many, many a year. This is wonderful. It's wonderful to see Teddy Spiliotis. Ted thinks because Columbus ended in an S that he was Greek, I guess. That's why Teddy's here, I guess, today. But what a difference for me. I'll tell you, this is such a great venue for me. You know, since I've been Speaker of the House, year after year, I go to that St. Patrick's Day breakfast. I'm not sure how many folks have the opportunity to watch that. And for a kid from East Boston and now living in making the big move to Winthrop, it's a different experience. Being there, when I think about the head table, and I think about you have Danucci, Menino, Travellini, Grossman, all at the head table. Boy, have we come a long way. But, usually I see Danny, he's one of these modern-day mayors. He doesn't wear a tie a whole lot. Did you ever notice that? Today he happens to have a tie, and I'm so glad, because usually he looks like someone who works at Liberto's Bakery. You and I okay? Yes, I am the Speaker. That's right. And I will tell you this. Many people have said that, that whoever the mayor happens to be, whoever the council, school committee, that those are the folks that I play up to, that I forget about the past people who are elected. And I am so, I hope our former mayor, Tom Jones? No, not Tom Jones. Tom Brady. No. Yeah, okay, we'll move on. But I love campaigning in Revere, as a matter of fact. And believe it or not, there was a time when I was thin, until I ran for office here in the great city. And I can remember my campaign manager said I was the only person to gain weight during a campaign, because I would make sure that I would do business in every restaurant, every bakery that there was in this great city. And I don't know how many people know this, but this is an historical fact, and I hope that you all take notice of it, to show you how special this city is and the connection between this city and Christopher Columbus. Did you know that Christopher Columbus came to Revere first? He came to Revere Beach and was struck by its beauty, but he couldn't land at Revere Beach because of the plovers. For those of you not from Revere, that was probably my best joke, so yeah. Talk to someone from Revere and they can better explain it to you. And I'll tell you, I have something else to report today. Do you remember that terrible situation with the Princess Kate Middleton? Those people who took the pictures and everything? Oh, we found out who it was. Just discovered just this past week. Al Terminello and Jen Semina. But I have so many great memories of the parade. I'll tell you, I've always loved it. There's all the floats. You have the Chamber of Commerce, the KFC, the Sons of Italy, and who also is there, probably one of the greatest ones that I've ever seen. You have Hot Gus selling televisions and appliances from the back of his truck. Only East Boston, no people? Okay. Hey, you know what? But this is great, if I can be serious for a moment. You know, the important part about getting the money together for Revere's future and having the parade next year. And as I stated at the Sandcastle Festival, I think as a Revere is a city which is on the move. Since I said that, the mayor has used that a number of occasions. He has stolen it from me. But I'm used to that. We have a governor and Senate president who tend to do the same thing. Yeah, I better change that. The governor's okay, but please tell the Senate president I was joking. But I'll tell you that over the years I've seen so many unbelievable improvements in this great city. And I want to congratulate, really. I think he's one heck of a mayor, and I think he's going to continue to be one of the greatest. Mayor Rizzo. And to members of the City Council and the school committee, you should be congratulated as well. You know, we are so fortunate to live in a city which we have the opportunity to live in a waterfront community, and we must continue to care for our beaches. That's why we recently had that wonderful ribbon cutting over at Shaw Beach with beautiful sidewalks and street lighting and replacement of beach ramps, and we made it a safer environment for those who visit. And this is just that and what's going on relative to business growth, what's going on in our schools in this great city are just an example of why I think the future for Revere is just going to be unbelievable, and there are going to be no boundaries to how great that this city is going to be. And I always consider myself to be one of the luckiest guys in the world to represent, as part of my district, I think, some of the greatest people that we have here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I thank you for having me here today. Wish you a happy Columbus Day, and God bless America. Thank you.
Wow, nice job. Nice job. Good job. Great job, Mr. Speaker. And I just realized that we probably used the same campaign manager because I had the same problem campaigning myself. So, you know, every restaurant and every bakery, I understand the situation there. Our next speaker comes from the great city of East Boston. And he took over in the Senate in 2007, and during that time has really made a mark in the state Senate. He is what I would call a friend, certainly a senator that's on the rise. I can only see bigger and better things for him as time goes along, and it's really incredible the working relationship that the city of Revere has with East Boston. You know, we do an awful lot of things together, and really a lot of our population here in Revere, I know Revere is a very diverse community. We're a city of immigrants, different ethnic groups that all call Revere home, but for many, many years, a lot of people came here from East Boston. I'm not sure if all of you know that, but I'm sure many of you do. Many people came here they came here from East Boston, and but not all did. You know, there were others that went to Bridgewater, Walpole, Billerica, Framingham. So, but we did. You know, we did get. I'm only kidding, but I have to throw a shot over the bow there. Really, it was only a joke to all these East Boston. So, without any further ado, Anthony Petracelli has been a great state senator. I've got to know his wife Alessandra, his two children, Alexa and Anthony. They're a great family, great representative for our community, and very, very proud to call him my senator, your senator, Senator Anthony Petracelli.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, everyone. Great to be here. Geez, you know, it's great. It's great. You know, I know I'm only kind of new, a few years, but I got some accomplishments under my belt. And I was looking as the mayor was introducing me, and then how he was introducing Eddie Markey. He had like 8 pages for Eddie Markey. He gets up, this is what he's got for me. You had to give me a nudge. You got to use that. It's a compliment to you, Congressman. But, you know, it's great to be here. We tried a Columbus Day roast 4 years ago. You know, we have a tradition in East Boston. We've been doing the parade for a number of decades. And we have a chief marshal banquet every year. And so 4 years ago, the folks that organized the parade and do a wonderful job, they thought, geez, why don't we try something different this year? And so they tried to do a roast. And I actually didn't know if this was a roast, if we had to be funny, which I'm really not funny, or whatnot. And so, but the thing that came to my mind, I was kind of afraid. I don't know how this is going to go, because when we tried that roast 4 years ago, I don't know if it's a cultural thing. I think maybe I'm going to stereotype myself in Italians. Maybe our thin isn't as thick as our Irish friends in South Boston. And so halfway through the roast, it started to get a little personal. There was some words exchanged among some of the folks at the roast, my colleagues that were there, my parents, and others. And so, needless to say, the roast was a failure, and we went back to the regular Chief Marshal's banquet. So Senator Hart was going to be here, and unfortunately he's not. I figured it'd be safe. If I'm going to pick on anyone, I'll pick on the folks that A, can't vote for me, and B, aren't here. And so, that being said, Jack's not here, but I said to Jack, I said, geez, Jack, how do you do it so well in South Boston? You guys really go after each other, and you work together wonderfully, and there's no problem. He says, well, geez, Anthony, you know, in South Boston, what we do is we have 12 beers before the breakfast, we have 12 beers after the parade, and then everyone forgets about what was said, and we move on. So I know that's not the case here, so I'm going to play it safe. You know, the mayor has also, he's making real good friends with the good Mayor of Boston, who, it's no surprise, is a good friend of mine as well, and I used to work for him. And Mayor Menino called me this morning. He was scheduled to come and attend the breakfast, but he was unable to. He had an emergency last-minute meeting that he had to go to with Bob Kraft and Steve Wynn. And so I don't know what that has to do with, but that's why he's not here, and I'm sure I'll pay for that remark at some point in the future. I'm doing my best to keep. Am I okay in time right now? I got one other zinger for someone who's not here I want to try to do. So I was in the North End the other day. I was playing in the annual bocce tournament that they have. They have a bocce tournament to raise money for their Columbus Day parade, which is next year. And so Trav, we all know who I'm talking about, Trav, right? A former senator, some President Bob Travellini, who's in the private sector now. My dear friend was supposed to play with me, and he called me and he says, I can't make it. I have a special meeting I have to go into. This is a true story, actually. And so we all know the Red Sox have had a tough couple of years. They had a real bad year this year. And I'm wondering what's going on with them. The management's having some problems. And Trav, I said, geez, what are you doing, Trav? And he says, well, you know, the Red Sox, one of my clients, I got called into a meeting because they're getting ready to let the manager go. And they got to find out what direction they're going to go, and so they need me to come in there for some advice. I says, are they that bad now at the Red Sox that they've got you going in there to figure out what to do with Bobby Valentin and the Red Sox? And so in all seriousness, it's great to be here. You know, as a kid growing up in East Boston, the Columbus Day Parade was always a special part of my life, my brother and sister's lives. Yesterday we had a wonderful parade. And it's just something about celebrating our Italian-American heritage, celebrating how proud we are to come from our community of East Boston and Revere. And that's why I really want to say thank you to Mayor Rizzo, his team, and the City Council and the school committee for putting the effort forward for this breakfast and to bring the parade back, because it's so important for us to celebrate our heritage and our pride in our community. It's such an important part of the fabric of our community, and it's going to be an important part of the pride of Revere moving forward. So it is a city on the move, like the speaker said, like the mayor said. I'm very grateful to play a small part in it, and I look forward to working with you in the future. So thank you, and happy Columbus Day.
Great job, Anthony. I do want to say, in response to your comments about the 5 or 6 pages on Congressman Markey and the 1 page on you, he did have a little bit of a head start. He's been there since 1976, Senator. So, you know. So, for those of you who didn't hear that, the senator just said he was 3 years old. So obviously his bio would not have made it to that stature. I want to recognize a good friend of mine, just reelected as clerk magistrate of Suffolk Superior Court for Criminal Business, Maura Hennigan. Maura, thank you for being here. I'd also like to recognize some members of my family that are here. Jane, thank you very much for your support, help at the event. My mother and father are here. Thank you very much for being here. And without any further ado, let me see here. I gauge it by thickness. So we have a friend of the city of Revere. While he doesn't represent Revere, he certainly has many, many friends here. Michael Capuano, Congressman Michael Capuano, is serving in his 7th term as representative in Congress for Massachusetts' 8th District, which includes Cambridge, Chelsea, Somerville, and approximately 70% of Boston. He's a member of the House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure and the House Committee on Financial Services. I don't want to upset anybody here, so I'm not going to read everything else that goes on with it. But I do want to say he is married to Barbara, a certified public accountant, has 2 sons, Michael and Joseph. Both have graduated from Massachusetts colleges and are currently working in the Commonwealth, and I'm very, very proud and happy to have our Italian congressman here, all the way from Washington, D.C., Congressman Michael Capuano. Congressman.
All right. Well, I didn't tell you the reason we get along is because I'm a former mayor of Somerville, too. So once a mayor, once a city council, once a school committeeman, which I've been all, you never give it up. I really just wanted to come to breakfast with a whole bunch of people who know how to say my name. And I can't tell you how comforting that is. I get it butchered all the time, and my answer is I don't care. As long as you put an X next to it, say it any way you want. Put any adjective you want in front of it. I don't care. X, that's good. Look, I wanted to come by because I grew up in Somerville. I still live there. I live in a 2-family house. I met my wife at Somerville High. And my memories and my thoughts of Revere are long and deep. I remember with great fondness the fights after the football game. The fights after the basketball games. The fights in the middle of the Little League games. I remember coming to Revere to steal cars. I remember you coming to Somerville to steal cars. This is a roast, right? I'm only kidding. I didn't admit to nothing. I wasn't there, you weren't there, we didn't see each other. I wanted to really come by because I will tell you that I told Eddie Markey, I said, he is going to pay for that overriding veto thing. I know a couple of guys named Vito, you don't override them. And the Big Bird guy, Eddie was telling me it's the same guy who was Christopher Columbus. I don't know. Mayor, Father Butera said that you were forgetting him, but you have 2 Hail Marys and an act of contrition. Actually, I said that to him. He said, that's not enough. I really want to come by to just say congratulations on trying to bring back a great tradition. I'm very proud of who I am. Mrs. Rizzo, my mother's an Irishman. And She told me that we made the best-looking kids, but she lied to me a lot, okay? And so I have all the disorders. I drink too much. I eat too much. We got them all. It's good, though. But Revere, like Somerville, is a city of many cultures. And I always take pleasure in celebrating them. I'm certainly proud of my Italian heritage. I grew up the old-fashioned way right across the street from my grandfather, who lived in East Boston for a while, and he moved that way. I will tell you that no one from Somerville ever moved to Revere for very long. And those who came never left. But again, nobody from Revere ever left Somerville either. I will tell you that it's very important to remember our own traditions. It's very important to remember our own culture. It's also very important to celebrate other cultures. None of us live on this earth alone. Too many of us, which all of us, are little United Nations. And for those of you who think you are purebloods, especially my Italian friends, think of what happened to Italy for several thousand years after Julius Caesar. It was invaded by everybody. Hi, we're the Visigoths. We're here to visit. Hi, we're the Vikings. We're just here for the good weather. We are all mutts. But we should all be proud of who we are. And we should all remember who we are. And for those people who don't, I feel bad for them, if you want the truth. For those people who think they're better than these old traditions, or that it's okay to forget them and move on, I actually feel sorry for them. They're missing a great and wonderful tradition. They're missing the idea of coming together. I think Anthony had it 100% right. We're not so good at the zinging and everything. He's right. We do get mad, and we stay mad. I don't remember why I'm not talking to my cousin, but he's a no-good SOB. 30 years ago, that son of a... But we do like coming together and enjoying each other's company. I'm actually surprised you don't get a few little glasses of vino on the table this morning, but I guess it's a morning thing, so we won't do that. And enjoying each other's company, enjoying each other's pleasures, and a parade is a great way to celebrate who and what we are, and I'm looking forward to having next year be a return of a fine and wonderful tradition, and I also look forward to it being an acceptance of all the many cultures that are now in Revere and in the surrounding area, too. Revere is not an island. Winthrop might be, I don't know, but Revere is not an island. What happens in Revere affects all of us, and we all take pleasure and joy in your improvements over the years and in your improvements in the futures and bringing back a fine and wonderful tradition. Thank you all very much.
Great job, Congressman. I know you were joking about the stealing cars in Somerville and stealing cars in Revere. But I do have to say, you could have been one of those people buying a microwave oven off the back of a truck in front of the Soccorso Club at one time because, in fact, a lot of you in the room here, I know you bought sweatshirts and T-shirts. Don't tell me you didn't. I know you were all there. You could have been selling them. That's right. Yeah, true. But thank you very, very much, Congressman. Our next speaker I'd like to bring up now is a very, very good friend of mine. Congressman Markey alluded to her father, the great Bill Reinstein, who many of us knew and loved. And I can't help but think how much he would love being here right now. I can't even imagine it. So he would be having a great time. But I'm sure that she certainly is going to do her very best to fill those shoes and has done a great job in filling his shoes. Serving now, I think, is it 14 years, Kathy? 14 years in the House of Representatives. Now is the second majority. Right. She is on Speaker DeLeo's leadership team, and he couldn't have made a better choice. She is a great friend of mine, a great friend of the city of Revere, Revere through and through. And what else can I say about my dear friend, Kathy Reinstein? Representative Reinstein?
Good morning, everybody. Okay, so we were told this was a roast. So we've taken the position that we're going big or we're going home. So I just want to take a second to congratulate Dan Rizzo on becoming the mayor of Revere. You're a great mayor. I mean, Danny, honestly, how did you do it? And I think I echo the sentiments of our state delegation, Speaker DeLeo, Senator Petracelli, and Sal DiDomenico, who couldn't be here today, to say that you did overcome the obstacles. I mean, who ever heard of a male Italian-American Democrat with a last name ending in a vowel actually getting elected to Revere politics? It's really unbelievable. I'm really, really honored to be here with all of you today at this Columbus Day breakfast. I want to welcome all of our head table guests for being here. And as you know, and as the mayor alluded to, I'm a very, very proud resident of Revere. I love Revere. I don't think I could ever leave this great city. And I mean, you know, the day I would even think about leaving would be the same day we would see Ed O'Hara wearing a conductor's hat while steering an ethanol train through the city. And I want to take a minute to apologize to our incredible superintendent, Paul Dakin. We wanted to have the whole school administration here, but we could not find a room big enough to fit all of the deans, assistant deans, principals, vice principals, assistant principals, and assistant vice principals. I love you, Paul. I want to say we have two great new counselors, Brian Arrigo and Jess Janino. You guys are doing a great job. You guys doing okay? Everything all right? Brian, did you have enough to eat? I want to make sure that everyone gets their fair share. And to the entire City Council, it's really great to see you here today, and I want to congratulate all of you for winning your elections last November, and I also want to congratulate John Corriggio. This Columbus Day Parade is kind of like John Corriggio. It didn't have enough to support to continue, but somehow it keeps coming back. It's a joke. I'm here with jokes. And I want to say really good for John and good for everyone who puts their name on a ballot. I want to wish all the school committeemen and all the city councilors good luck in their election in November. Oh, wait, almost forgot. Have an announcement I have to read. Stat Smith will be having an after party at his apartment building. And he said you should get there early because it's going to be very crowded. Gail Huff, it's very nice to see you here today. I don't know if you remember, but I came into the State House with your husband, Scott, in 1999. And after almost 15 years of knowing Scott, I never knew that he folded clothes until I saw the commercial. So if you don't mind, I was wondering if you could just bring something to him. It's my laundry. Oh my God, how did that get here? Gail, you're a great sport. Thank you. We have a lot of issues that are happening in the city and at the state level. We know there's possibly a casino coming here. We were lucky enough to see expanded gaming get signed into law last year. The mayor was on Fox News a little while ago talking about a possible soccer stadium. So if a casino comes here and a soccer stadium comes here, we all know traffic's going to be a huge concern. So therefore, I have taken it upon myself to commission design plans from world-renowned construction executives. So these plans will be able to alleviate all the fears that anyone has about traffic. And we just got these plans yesterday, and I'm really thrilled with the results, and I think you will be too. You are all going to be the first ones here to see it. And I'm going to ask my lovely Vanna White, Anthony Petracelli, to help me. And he is not taking responsibility for anything that happens here. So obviously this is a map of Revere. Right? So you can see that Suffolk Downs is marked on the map, right? And if there's a casino, there's going to be a big influx of people coming. You can see that there's going to be increased activity around North Revere and West Revere. We want them to visit the casino, and then the plan will allow, they'll matriculate right down to the beach. There's the beach. Isn't this so professional? It's amazing. And, you know, we want them basically, you know, to have the traffic flow. They can take a ferry over to Beachmont, and when they've lost all their money, we're going to boot them right into Lynn. Thank you, Anthony. Okay. So, in all seriousness, thank you, Anthony. You did a phenomenal job. Let's hear it for Anthony. And I want to just end by saying seriously, it was great spending time with all of you this morning, and thanks for putting up with me. I seriously want to say, though, it's an honor and privilege to work with our friends in Congress, our constitutional officers who are here, my colleagues in the House and Senate. I am part of the greatest delegation in Massachusetts. I am honored to get to not only work with Speaker DeLeo and Senator Petracelli, but to call them my friends. They are phenomenal. All these people here are hardworking public servants, and I thank them for our dedication to our city, our Commonwealth, and our country. I want to thank you all for loving the city of Revere so much, and I hope that you all have a wonderful Columbus Day. Thank you. Is that good?
Great job, Kathy, and that just adds to the fighting that will ensue immediately after this this get-together here. So, moving on. Our next speaker is State Treasurer Steve Grossman. Prior to being elected treasurer in 2010, Steve Grossman spent 35 years creating jobs, managing money, dealing with crises, and finding common-sense solutions to problems as CEO of Grossman Marketing Group in Somerville, a 102-year-old fourth-generation family-run business. He has also served as chairman of both the Massachusetts and National Democratic parties, where he established a track record as a reformer and builder, working aggressively to implement effective management and financial controls and empowering more activists to participate in political life. Treasurer Grossman is a graduate of Princeton University and Harvard Business School. His wife, Dr. Barbara Wallace Grossman, a theater historian, author, and director, is a professor at Tufts University and serves as vice chair of the Massachusetts Cultural Council. They have 3 sons, David, Ben, and Josh. Please welcome State Treasurer Steve Grossman.
Thank you, Kathy. I think this is the largest crowd that's been in this space since your kickoff event, which was an incredible event.
Thank you.
There is so much love for you here in this city, and everybody at this head table, and I particularly share that. Since we're in the VFW, even though it's 520 years and we're recognizing the accomplishments of Christopher Columbus, I think it'd be appropriate, being in the VFW, to ask everybody in this room who has ever served in the military or is a veteran to please stand and be recognized. I mean, it's an incredible tradition we're part of. You know, Ed Markey and I got to know each other 42 years ago. We were in the Army Reserves together at the Army base. And it's been a wonderful friendship ever since. Mike Capuano and I got to know each other because when he was mayor of Somerville, and I had a business in Somerville, mayors, great mayors like Mike Capuano and Dan Rizzo take City Hall and they make it fast, flexible, and entrepreneurial. They make it welcome to every small business that needs help and anybody who needs help. That's what Mike did in Somerville. That's why he was so effective. And that's why this guy is destined to be one of the great mayors in the history of this Commonwealth. And speaking of things that we've done together, City on the Move, this week Dan and I were together. I chair the Mass School Building Authority, and so what did we do this week? we put the McKinley Elementary School in the queue, so we're going to have a new McKinley Elementary School built in this city of Revere. And do we need it? I don't think I have to tell anybody here, Carol, I don't think I have to tell anybody about overcrowding in some of the other schools. Big increase in population. This school is going to be huge. Almost 700 kids when this is built, and we're dedicated to make it happen all the way right through from now until its conclusion. And I had a wonderful opportunity last year to work with Bob DeLeo. This is serious. What do? We created a small business banking partnership in the Commonwealth to bring money back from overseas into small local regional banks. We picked up the phone and we called Dick Gavignano and said, Dick, come on in for ice cream. So Bob DeLeo, Dick Gavignano, and I sat in my office. We had homemade ice cream. Dick agreed to take some money. $5 million was deposited in East Boston Savings and making loans all over the community, all over Revere. And I want to recognize Karen Gallo, the branch manager of the Revere branch of the East Boston Savings Bank. Karen? And, you know, this is all about building community. At some point, you know, this morning, with all the talk about the parade, we should really do some fundraising. I'm not going to embarrass anybody, but we're going to have to raise a lot of money. And when you look at who the platinum sponsor is of this morning, East Boston Saving, it's the small banks, the local banks, the regional banks, the community banks, the credit unions. They're the ones who do all the work. When the Little League team needs helmets, they make the Little League team available. They need bats, they need uniforms. When the bingo game needs help, it is always the small institutions and the banks and the small local businesses that make a great community. And this is a great community. So I look forward to working on the parade, look forward to contributing. You call me when you need help for the parade. I will be there. And last thing I want to say is this. My grandfather grew up in East Boston, grew up on Marion Street, marched past Marion Street just yesterday, marched right down the street. I met the woman who lives in the house that my grandfather lived in. Sorry. I met the woman who lives in the house my grandfather lived in. 112 years ago, he came to East Boston, second youngest of 13 kids. Never got past the 6th grade, shined shoes, sold papers on the East Boston ferry boat. How did he go into business? How did he create a business? Because when he started his business, Mass Envelope Company, he picked up the phone and went to see his friends who went to the Otis School, the Italian Americans who were his classmates. They were buying envelopes. They were stock boys. They were purchasing agents in all the banks in the North End. And he said, if you guys buy envelopes from me, I can go into business. So it's Italian Americans who put my grandfather into business in 1910, and I will never, ever, ever be able to repay that debt. So I'm thrilled to be here, happy to support the parade. Call me first. I'll be there. Barbara and I will support the parade financially. More than that, as I did yesterday with 50 of my friends and colleagues, I'll be marching in this parade and be proud to do it. Thanks so much for listening. I think I broke the mic.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Treasurer Grossman, thank you so much. And you know, we've had several Italians have the opportunity to speak here today. But I guess as someone who's presiding over this breakfast this morning, I want to name you an honorary Italian. Nobody spoke with their hands more than you. To the point you almost took out the whole podium. It was Treasurer Grossman, great job. Thank you so much for being here. Excuse me 1 second, please. Hey, easy. Wrong one. Hold on 1 second here. I want to give some special thank yous anyway. I want to really thank the committee who put this together, and I know I'm going to leave some people out, but I want to just take the. This is really horrific right now. This is really. Oh, thank God. All right. I haven't sweat until just now. The sweat just began. But really, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I never thought you'd be assisting me the way you have. But I want to thank, really, the committee members. And I know I'm going to leave people out, but I just want to recognize some. I see Paul Travellini over there. Paul, thank you very, very much. Nick Boer is here. Nick, thank you. The all work. Len Piazza, wherever you are, Lenny, thank you. Really, we had a whole host of people who participated in putting this together, and I can't tell you how grateful I am for the time and effort that they took in helping make this possible. Our last speaker, certainly not least, is our state auditor, Suzanne Bump. She's a native of Whitman, Massachusetts. She is a graduate from Boston College with a bachelor's degree in English and received her Juris Doctorate from Suffolk University Law School. She was elected in Braintree as a state representative, where she saw problems affecting her community and constituents, and she solved them. When she was House Chairman on the Commerce and Labor Committee, she addressed a crisis that was crippling economic growth, skyrocketing workers' compensation insurance costs. As principal author of a sweeping 1991 law, she took on the entrenched interests that were benefiting from the status quo. The result was reform that to this day brings fairness, efficiency, and accountability to the system. It has saved businesses millions of dollars while delivering faster judgments to injured workers. Suzanne Bump is the 25th Auditor of the Commonwealth, one of 6 constitutional officers in Massachusetts, and the first female elected to this role in the state's history. She was elected to this office in 2010, resides with her husband, Paul McDevitt of Dorchester, whom she married in 1980, now living in Housatonic within the Berkshires town of Great Barrington. Please welcome Suzanne Bump.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I didn't realize you were going to get the whole life story there. Mr. Mayor, I just want to tell you that based on your performance there a second ago, you could really develop a sideline to your work as mayor. You could become a magician because in the blink of the eye, you changed the House Speaker into the House Clerk. Very, very nicely done. Very nicely done. Well, I actually want to share just as your last speaker a few more serious thoughts about parades and community and how you define a community. And one of the ways that you define a community is by its traditions. And I truly do congratulate you for your vision and your determination to restore one of Revere's most delightful traditions and one which conveyed an enormous civic pride, and that obviously is the annual Christopher Columbus Day Parade. Like your vision for the economic development of the city, you understand what's important to the people of this community, and I commend you for that. Since you did extend your invitation to me to talk about to participate in this breakfast, I really indulged a little bit in recalling some of my own favorite parade memories from my life, and I just wanted to share a couple of them. This first one, though, I actually do share with a little bit of trepidation because it's a story that's been handed down to me from my grandparents to my parents and to me. And we've learned in this election year, if nothing else, how treacherous it is to trust anything that your grandparents and parents told you about your past. Isn't that true, Gail? But in all seriousness, this is an accurate, as best I can tell, memory. It was when I was just a little bit of a girl. My grandfather, who was a veteran of World War II and of Korea, was marching with his comrades in Brockton's, one of Brockton's celebratory events. And I was there apparently with my mother and my grandmother, and was so excited to see him that I ran out and threw my arms around him and completed that parade, walking hand in hand with my very proud grandfather. Mr. Mayor, you know, therefore, that parades bring families together in this way. And I do myself have very vivid memories of parades that my siblings and I watched from the front of my father's funeral home property on the main street in Whitman, and we watched the Garden Club ladies and the Boy Scouts and the KFC and the military from the local armory and the high school band go by on their way to a local cemetery to honor deceased veterans. And on the sidewalks, we saw our friends and our neighbors and our teachers, and we knew we were participating in something that was at once great fun, but also a very solemn occasion. Mr. Mayor, you know that parades showcase our values. Now my favorite parade is one in that little village that the mayor referenced of Housatonic in Great Barrington. It's a pretty small parade because Housatonic is a pretty small village. So they have to call in people from other communities with the big fire trucks. Then there are the little kids with bikes that are decorated with flags and with streamers. And there's a high school band, but frankly there's not much more, except when the veterans stop at the bridge over the Housatonic River and they put into the river the black wreaths that commemorate the many men who have served from the village of Housatonic. It seems that everybody literally in that village comes out for that parade, which only winds around a few blocks. Mr. Mayor, you know that parades bind communities together. Parades are important symbols of the things that we treasure. At parades, the crowds cheering on the sidewalks are just as important as the marchers, for parades mean community. Community pride, shared community sacrifice, and community spirit. And Mr. Mayor, parades create lasting memories. I want to thank you for your efforts to bring back Revere's parade and create new memories for generations of Revere residents. And I, too, look forward to joining you next year at the Christopher Columbus Day Parade and celebrating with you and all the people of Revere. Thank you so much.
Madam Auditor, thank you very, very much for those words. Parades are very, very important, and really it does bring a sense of community when you see a parade marching down your main thoroughfare of your community, whether you live in Revere, East Boston, Great Barrington, wherever it is you're from. It does bring together the community. There's a few people here that I would like to represent before we start to wrap up. But before I do, how about a nice round of applause for all of our speakers that are here? You know, really, as mayor, I can't tell all of you how grateful I am. I know some of you are in the middle of, heated political races. Others have traveled great distances to be here with us and just taking general time out of you. I know it's a very, very, very busy schedule. So I really want to thank all of you for helping us make this parade a possibility and a reality coming up next year when we hopefully join again to kick off our 2013 Columbus Day Parade. So really, one more round of applause for our great speakers. And I'd like to recognize State Senator Sal DiDomenico, who just came in. Sal, thanks so much for being here and supporting us. The President of the Sons of Italy Renaissance Lodge, Dean Saluti. Dean, thank you. Thank you, Dean. And I'd also like just to take a second to recognize my staff, for whom without I would not have been able to be standing here right now. I want to thank my assistant, Sophia Forgione. Several assistants. Joyce DiNuccio. Joyce. David Krasnoff. David, thank you. And last but not least, the great Miles Lane Kennedy. Miles. I'd also like to recognize my campaign manager, really, who I wouldn't be standing here without, Priscilla Nickerson. So, Priscilla, thanks for being here. So once again, to our sponsors, to those of you who met week in and week out to help make this possible, our guest speakers, the Columbus Day Parade and Breakfast Committee, the Revere Historic and Cultural Preservation Society, Revere TV, who's here. Thank you, Revere TV, for being here. The brochures you have were created by Nobo Publishing, who are a great supporter of ours, so thank you, Nobo. And also, Kerry Abrams is here from Kinship Florist. Kerry, thank you for your contributions also. So with that, once again, thank you all. I want to really tell you how heartwarming it is for me as mayor to see all of you come out here on this great holiday, and I hope to see all of you here again next year.